Hello, welcome to another episode of Natural Genius at Work. Today I'm going to be interviewing Dr. Tim Errington. He is the founder of Total Health Chiropractic, and he is a specialist in all things natural health and related to chiropractic health. So we're very honoured to have Dr. Tim with us today to share his experience. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
I was going to say delighted to be here, but I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, no, it's great. We had obviously a conversation offline.
Yeah.
I know some of the work that you've been doing, and I loved some of the things that you were sharing.
Great.
So it seemed like a really obvious connection and an
Yeah.
interview that would be really interesting to those watching that might be thinking about doing something a little bit different.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
all about helping people reach their potential.
Exactly.
You do it your way, I do it my way.
Yeah.
And there's a good synergy there.
Same end goal, different ways of doing it.
Absolutely.
So behind every successful person, there's always a bigger mission. There's a reason why you do
Yes.
what you do. Share a little bit around what that is for you.
I think my mission started many, many years ago, and it started when I realized that I could help a lot of people. And I think as a chiropractor, I have to have empathy. I have to really consider how people feel. And in my really early days, I was in the fire department, believe it or not. Yeah, I was a firefighter. And I learned empathy in those days because what I witnessed was people in extreme situations.
Yeah.
And I really understood what suffering is all about. And I also realized the fragility of life and the importance of maintaining life.
Yeah.
And then later on, as I developed as a person, I became an engineer, and then I became a spinal engineer. I realized that all my experiences, they all come together to make me who I am.
Yes.
And so I believe I can help an awful lot of people live at a higher level, and it's just by releasing what they have within them.
Yes. I love the fact that you used to work here as an engineer.
Yeah.
You know, when you were in your engineering job, whatever you call
Yeah.
whatever that was, very different to what you're doing now. But there's a synergy there, right? It's almost like you were in training to do what you're doing now without necessarily knowing it.
Well, I didn't know at all.
Yeah.
I started off in Africa building chimneys,
Yeah.
power stations. I really am good at columns.
Yes.
I'm really good at making things to last.
Yeah.
You know, I understand structure and function and how it
Yeah.
goes together. And then later on, when I realized that we are also columns,
Yes.
and we want to stand straight and tall for 100 years, I realized that all the powers all the laws of the universe
Yes.
also apply to the human body.
Yeah.
So literally, when I'm doing my chiropractic,
Yeah.
if you want to say it that way, when I'm practicing chiropractic, I'm actually being a spinal engineer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand force and tension.
Yeah.
I understand physiology, and when I put that together
Yeah.
with natural laws,
Yes.
then it is a world of action and reaction.
Yes.
Yeah. And you have to work with the laws.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. I love the way that you've been able to carry it through to what you're doing now.
Yeah, so much so that I ended up writing a book on it because I literally thought everybody has to know this.
Yes.
Everybody has a posture, and if
Yeah.
their posture's bad, they are leaning towers.
Yes.
And
Yeah, Pisa.
Yeah, you're Pisa. But then there's a consequence.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, for every action there's a reaction.
Yes.
If you're leaning, gravitational forces are pulling you one way,
Yeah.
so the muscles are pulling the other way.
Yeah.
That is the main cause of all the stiffness and tightness of all your friends
Yes.
and all the people out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a sort of a fairly unique outlook in the way I
Yeah.
look at things. But when I apply it, that's one of the reasons why we get such amazing results.
Yes, great. So life hasn't always been this way. Obviously, you came to this a little bit later in your career, what you're doing now.
Yeah.
So what was the tipping point or the wake up call that kind of made you switch and change and do what you're doing now? What's the story there?
Well, there are various stories.
Yeah.
They all came together.
Yeah.
It depends how far back you want me to go, but I've always believed in natural health. I've always looked after myself, and I've always had a little bit of a distrust of unnatural ways of being healthy and medicines, etc.
Yeah.
Not many people know it, but I lost my mother to a medical accident, and she basically took too many drugs. They said it was, well, they actually said it was suicide.
Right.
But basically it was barbiturate poisoning, and she went the same way as Marilyn Monroe, same way as Jimi Hendrix, same time.
Right.
And I've always had this mistrust of drugs, and I tend to stay away from them.
Yeah.
And so later on, when I realised as an engineer that with my expertise I could help straighten people out, help them live without pain, and I realised that although I was enjoying being an engineer building structures, if I could help people re-engineer their spines and therefore their lives, I could have a huge impact.
Yes.
And then suddenly my life had a much bigger purpose, and that's when I made when I made the switch.
Yeah.
And I met a couple of young doctors who, when I sort of shared with them my story and I told them that how I look at columns.
Yeah.
They then spent the next 2 months trying to persuade me to become a chiropractor.
They knew, right?
Yeah, so we ended up literally having all these philosophical discussions in a very well-known pub in Newcastle upon Tyne, discussing laws of the universe and how it applies to the body.
Yeah.
And it was quite interesting. And in the end, I just had to become a chiropractor.
Yeah. Yeah. Fulfill that, right?
Yeah, I did.
So you had to fulfill that with all of the signals around you and people sort of directing you that way and everything.
Yeah, but once you've got a purpose, and I was 35.
Yeah.
It wasn't too late, although my father thought it was too late.
Yeah.
I knew that I knew it was going to take me 5 years to make the change.
Yeah.
But I knew those 5 years were going to change. We're going to those years were going to go by anyway.
Yeah.
And in 5 years' time, that time will go like that.
Yeah.
I will be a chiropractor.
Yes.
And I'll have a much bigger purpose. I'll be able to travel, and I can turn my life around.
Yeah.
And I think I just had a clear picture of what I wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
And then once you are a mature student, you tend to work a lot harder because literally you've got a lot on the line.
Yeah.
And there's no messing around. You're not a kid anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is a big deal.
Yes.
Changing countries, changing careers and everything. And my girlfriend, now my wife, came with me.
Yeah.
And she supported me, and she gave up her country and her job to come to America with me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't mess it up.
Yes.
I couldn't mess it up.
It's too much at stake here.
Too much at stake, yeah.
So it's often that people make career switches later in their careers.
Yes.
And I guess, case in point, that actually 35 when you made that choice, 5 years of study to get to being, I guess, fully practicing doctor of chiropractic health. So you would have been 40, right, by that point. So it's not too not too late.
I
right?
was over 40, and
so it's not too late. So I think there's a belief that perhaps we have in society that it's too old or it's too late, and you've kind of missed the boat if you haven't done it by age 30 or whatever number we have in our minds. So case in point, right?
Okay, so I'm 60 now. If you look at my Instagram page, I've got a new hashtag. 60 is the new 40. And then I'm literally going to be working on my ultimate hashtag, which will be 100 is the new 60. That's where I'm going.
I like it.
So my job is to help people increase their health span.
Yeah.
The byproduct of that will be longevity.
Yes.
And when I look at my family, and my father died at 88. My grandparents, they went to late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
They didn't know anything about physiology. When they were younger, they used to smoke. They used to have a little dram of whiskey and what have you. They didn't have time to exercise. They were just, they're quite robust northerners in England. And they all suffered some arthritis in the end and everything. But they got to pretty much 90. Yeah. With what I know and with those genes. Yeah. I've got potential, right? And I'm going to see how far I can go. Yes. And I now know that where we're going, and this really is worth understanding, there is things happening on this planet now which makes my generation possibly the last generation that has to die of old age. That sounds ridiculous, but check this out. At the moment, there are things we know how to do biohacks.
Yep.
There are things you can do by using the word. There's a word called hormesis.
Yep.
A little bit that stresses you makes you stronger.
Yes.
So if you work with hormesis and you stress your body in the right way, then it'll become more robust, and your genes will express itself towards health.
Yep.
Right. This is where fasting is a big thing nowadays, but that's hormesis.
Yep.
Okay. If the body feels comfortable, it closes down. You have to get your body out of the comfort zone.
Yep.
So this is why the people who know this stuff are doing certain things.
Yep.
Fasting is one of them. It's intermittent exercise, where you really go for it, really stress your heart, and but not too much.
Yes.
So it's short bursts.
Just enough.
High impact, high intensity interval training.
Yep.
Right. That's hormesis.
Right.
Okay. Hot, cold. So you go into a sauna, and then you hit an ice bath. Right. That's hormesis. That will stress your body just enough. And then they are literally they've proven that this can give you an extra 8 years of life. And of course you have to have everything in place as well. So the natural foundational pillars have got to be right. Your sleep, your nutrition, your exercise, your spinal health, healthy nervous system, positive mental attitude. That has to be in place. But then, if you practice hormesis, then that will give you an extra 10 years, and that will take you, if you're my age, to the next bridge that we've got to get across. So if we can stay healthy the old-fashioned way long enough, we then get to what's coming with meditech advances. So we've now got stem cell stuff. I went home at Christmas, and there was a dog, a friend's dog was running around like a little puppy, and last time I'd seen it, it was dragging its back legs with arthritis. It's had stem cells.
Incredible.
Into its hips.
Wow.
So they're doing it to animals, but not to us yet. They're starting in other parts of the world. But it's coming really fast.
Fascinating.
I can't wait to get mine. So that's stem cell stuff, and what they've got coming in terms of genetics and genetic engineering, being able to tweak your genes, and then down the line they've got 3D printing. I mean, it's ridiculous. This will all come to nanotechnology, where they'll put little devices in your blood, which will go around hunting out the viruses, the cancer cells, cleaning them out. I mean, literally, they're talking about. I mean, there's so many books about it now. And I follow various people on this subject. And I know what my job is to help people get that extra 10 or 15 years, so that they are ready. I don't want to miss the cut. Imagine this, the whole of history. Humanity is that long. It's only a few 100,000 years, right? Then there's now, and then we've got the future going on to ever. Eventually, we'll live at least 200 years. We know that. Whales, we have almost the same genes as whales. They go 200 years, no problem.
That sounds incredible, isn't it? Now?
But we've got to be in a position to get there, to get the best out of what's coming. And to do that, we have to look after ourselves. So that's sort of my job and my focus. To increase people's health spans. So that their lifespan can eventually increase. And there's a certain group of people that I meet who go, tell me more. I'm into it. Because if you can put yourself out for 10 years and then get an extra 40 years, I mean, I'm in.
That's the best ROI I've ever heard.
I mean, but this is real stuff. This is real stuff. There are books out. There's a guy called Ray Kurzweil. He's a futurist. He guides Google. He knows his stuff. And he's a futurist. He's written books. If you look at where they're investing their money, he's got a university in Silicon Valley called Singularity University. And if you look at what's happening and where the money's being invested, it's unbelievable. And I'm really excited by this stuff.
I can see.
I read about it all the time. And but literally, we're on the cusp of changes that will make the internet look like child's play. I mean, this is, you talk about human potential.
Yes.
This is the biggest thing right now.
Yes, I can see this is a topic very relevant for you, very exciting.
Yeah, but for everybody, really.
Yeah, for everyone, yeah. Yeah, great. So tell us about some healthy habits that you do that perhaps people watching may be able to do themselves that help you keep strong in your mind, keep a healthy mindset.
Okay, mindset. I think that's probably the most important thing, because once you have the right mindset, everything else follows.
Yeah.
So I do work on my mindset. I do some meditation.
Yeah.
If you don't start the day well, you might lose a day. So I try and start the day well every day.
Yeah.
And I do some exercise. I get my intention right. I set the course for the day.
Yeah.
Every day things will happen that will make me react. I want to be aware of that.
Yeah.
So I react in a good way.
Yeah.
And I don't overreact. And I don't want that stress response driving me.
Yeah.
So I exercise more than I need to, but it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Obviously, nutrition, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I've got certain things that I must do.
Yes.
I make sure that I'm alkaline and not acidic.
Yeah.
I'm mostly vegetarian, not entirely, mostly.
Yeah.
I do have some grass-fed organic meat. I try and I work on my sleep. Sleep is really, really important. So I used to go to bed late and all that stuff. Now I go to bed a bit earlier. I read in bed and it gets me off to sleep. I know that I need to be in that quality deep sleep, because that's when your body does all its healing. Yeah. And that's when growth happens in the brain. So the synaptic connections happen in deep sleep. So that's really, really important. And then of course it's the engineering of my structure. We know half the Ferraris driving around out there are run by orthopedic surgeons who are busy replacing hip joints and knees. These are weight-bearing joints that are out of alignment. They wear out. Guess what? Your whole spine is weight-bearing joints. If it's out of alignment, it will wear out. Okay? So my job is to help people align their spine so the nerves can work properly. But I'm really aware of that, and I'm also aware that I'm leaning over clients all day. I'm writing. I'm doing. So I have to apply all this to myself. So I get adjusted. I do the exercise. I do postural exercises. I do these every day.
Yes.
So I do apply everything to myself. And I honestly believe that people who don't take an interest in health are, I mean, what's wrong with you? I mean, literally, what's wrong with you?
Right?
We literally have got this unparalleled, this unbelievable, innate potential to be almost anything. Incredible. And healing comes from the inside. Doesn't come out of pill bottles. It comes from the inside. And our body was born perfectly, and it can heal perfectly. And as a profession, chiropractors, we actually get an awful lot of things like spontaneous remissions and things like that. And where does that come from? Just because literally we help the body heal by getting it back into balance.
Nice. Incredible. So you must have met some pretty inspirational people in your time. What are the sort of the main people that you feel have helped shaped you and your career?
I think the person who has shaped my life the most would be my father. He was a scientist, and he was a realist. He was extremely pragmatic, and he taught me things really early on, and I still quote him almost every day. He would say things like, "Make yourself useful, and be very good at whatever you do, and then life will look after you." Your little pills of wisdom, and I've always remembered it. And what I do now is I'm making myself as useful as I can be, and I'm just literally following his advice. As I became a chiropractor and I moved to California, I was lucky to go to this amazing school where some of the top doctors in the world came to us. So I have to thank people like Jerry Clum and Don Harrison and some of those people that came to us were quite incredible. Later on, as I've gone down my path, I meet people. I've met some really inspirational people. I'm trying to think some of the big ones. I mean, last year, I was invited by Richard Branson to go to his island.
Nice.
This was a very, very inspirational
I bet.
experience, because it was like a think tank.
Yeah.
It was on Necker, and it was a week long.
Yeah.
When we were literally discussing sort of the macro state of the world.
Yeah.
It sounds really heavy, but it was really interesting. I was there because of wellness. Somebody had heard me talk,
Yeah.
and somebody loved the way I was talking about releasing the potential for healing within.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody needs. And it's all about mindset, and it's about taking an interest in your life and learning simple things. And I was invited along just to talk about this, but then they made me realise that I need to do more with it.
Yeah.
And I need to write more books. I need to do this. I need to do that.
Yeah.
I need to. They wanted to help me franchise and go into to different countries and what have you. My biggest interest at the moment is longevity, and how can I help people get an extra 10 years of health span. And the medical industry is amazing. It's amazing. Its specialities are amazing. Emergency medicine is amazing, but it's keeping for wellness and keeping us healthy. It's not very good at all.
Yeah.
Right? So that's up to us.
Yes.
We have to learn how to be healthy.
Yeah.
But it's not taught at school. Your parents don't know it. So who's going to teach you?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, oh, okay. So that's why I'm doing what I do.
Yes.
To try and help as many people reach their potential in life.
Yeah. So plug that knowledge gap that people really desperately need, right?
Yeah. I work on. I've got 3 big words.
Yeah.
Education first.
Yeah.
But education's not enough without inspiration.
Yes.
And if you have education and inspiration,
Yeah.
then you get transformation.
Yeah. Nice.
So if we are in this transformational space where you want to transform people's lives and give them so they can live their life closer to their potential, then you need all 3 things.
Yes. So we're talking about potential, we're talking about transformation, and it has to, we all have gifts and talents that we can offer to the world.
Yes.
Our genius, as I would call it, our natural genius that's innate within us. We have it already. What is your natural genius?
My natural genius. Okay, where shall I start? I think that the what I've learned through life and through chiropractic and through schooling and experience and meeting incredible people is that what it's made me realise is that what people have inside them is limitless. So I think my gift is that I can see the extraordinary in the ordinary.
Yep, nice.
All right, I'm not calling you ordinary, but I can see what's definitely extraordinary inside you.
You can call me ordinary, it's okay.
No, but you are more extraordinary than you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
You've got more connections in your brain, synaptic connections, than every single cell phone on this planet, which makes you more than unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that is pure genius, and it's untapped.
Yes.
And so your potential is, so the last thing you want to do is, and this applies to everybody, is to fall into a life of habits.
Yeah. Because
then you're missing all the potential.
Yeah.
And this life where people get up in the morning and they get onto the treadmill of life, and as soon as they're brushing their teeth, they're thinking about the stresses of life.
Yeah.
They go into this stress physiology where they stay all day.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, stress downregulates your genes. It takes you towards disease, and it's not potential. It's not a good place to be. So you have to take control of it. That's why things like what I do, chiropractic, is important. It takes pressure off the nervous system. That's why meditation is so important. That's why deep sleep's important. That's why. But if you don't know this stuff, then you just live a life of stress.
And do it.
Yeah, and
you've got to know it and do it, right?
Yeah. But when you say do it, it's what I just talk about sometimes sounds so far away from normal people's lives. Yes. You try and make it into little steps.
Yes. Otherwise, it's too overwhelming.
Little
right?
steps. Little steps.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why, today on my Instagram page, I'm starting a little challenge. Yeah. I'm helping people do little micro steps. Yeah. With a view in a month to help people get off the plateau they're on. Yeah. And onto a slightly higher plateau.
Yes. Yeah.
So today I'm drinking more water.
Yeah.
Okay. That's mine for today.
Yeah.
I'm going to do 20 micro steps. Hopefully, lots of people will follow me.
Yeah.
But that will lift them up to a new level.
Yeah. Yes.
And then when they see it, they can sustain it.
Yeah.
And life will be better.
Yeah, so it's an important point, right? Because we always think about transforming our lives and finding our potential. It sounds really big, like we've got to take we've got to do one massive thing to get there. Well, actually, it's just the small little things that will get you to that, right?
It's the little things.
Yeah.
One little step, and you see it's easy. You know, one step is easy.
Yeah.
But then once you've taken that step, the next step's easy.
Yeah.
You know, and then
it's just one more.
It's just
yeah.
one more. So it's just little things.
Yes.
But the biggest thing is taking control of that and having an awareness. I know it sounds a bit cliched. You have to live in the present, but you do.
Yes.
Because if you don't live in the present, where are you?
Yeah.
You're worrying about the future or regretting the past.
Yes.
But the way your physiology is that we are wired to see threats.
Yeah.
That's how our species survived.
Yes.
So we're wired. We've got the lizard brain, which is the brain stem there.
Yeah.
That's for basic physiology. That's how the body works, basic for beating the heart, etc.
Yes.
That's the brain stem. But also in the brain stem is the stress, right? It's your survival instincts. And I'm afraid that is the strongest part of your physiology is the basic keeping your heart running, and then the looking for stresses, looking for danger.
Yeah.
And we have to be aware of that, otherwise it drives us.
Yeah, so it doesn't take over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every day you've got to make little steps, and you've got to have whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. You know, you've got to have your own strategies to get yourself back on track.
Yes, exactly. There's got to be a plan, right? There's got to be a strategy there.
Well, what do they say? If you fail
what
to
do
plan,
they say?
if you fail to plan,
you
plan
plan
to fail.
Yeah.
Right. So you really have to have a plan. And we help our clients have plans for nutrition and exercise and just little things, simple things that protects you.
Yeah. And lastly, you have successfully been able to shift into what you're doing now, very different to what you did, albeit you could carry it forward. It wasn't like completely different. It was something you could transfer into what you're doing now, but a different something. You've been successful at it. What would you say to those that may be watching that want to do something similar, not necessarily chiropractic health, but they want to do a career change, but they're a little bit unsure, maybe lack the courage a little bit? What advice would you give to someone in that situation?
I would say two things. First of all, I would say that if you feel that you want to make a change, make sure that you can create a vision. And that vision, if that vision will actually take you closer to your magnificent purpose. So I believe that everybody's got something amazing to do in life, whether it's looking after your parents or building a company or bringing something to market or whatever. But if you think that that's your magnificent purpose and it excites you, and you can create some natural steps and you can take one step, then I'd say do it. I don't know how long it's going to take, a year, 5 years, it doesn't matter, that time's going to pass anyway. Yeah. And you're either stuck in, you're in fixed mode or you're in growth mode. And I know where life is better. Life is better when you're in growth mode, right? Yeah. And so that's one thing. And then the other thing I'd say is that because we are living longer and longer and longer, the generations that are coming along, they are going to have to learn how to change their career more and more. Yeah, because more and more people are in tech, and tech is going exponential. Yeah. So as soon as they learn it, they're out of date. So they are constantly going to be reinventing themselves. Yeah. And I'm on my second big career. I've had about 4, but the second real career. Yeah. I'm thinking about my third, but I wouldn't bet against me having 4 proper careers. Yeah. And when I say a proper career, it's got to be a 20 year plus. Yeah. And so really, I would say take the jump, but make sure you've thought about it, you've got a vision, and don't live your life inside your comfort zone. You'll shrink. There's no growth there. Yeah. Great. Thanks, Dr. Tim. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. I enjoyed that. Yeah. So that's all from us. See you next time.